Hi guys. Hello. When people start coming in here, I'm gonna need you to tell me if you can hear me. Tell me how the audio is, because we have a microphone, but also a fairy with the microphone, because the last couple lives, the audio has been really crunchy and bad. So, yeah, I wanted to give this a try. No one's in here yet, so I'm just going to get my decks out. Hi, I see people starting to come in. Let me know if you guys can hear me, because I have this microphone, but audio is great. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Ela. Yeah, it's been super crunchy these last couple lives, so I had this. I already had this microphone. I'm like, why don't I just try it? And then my friend a while ago gifted me like a really nice microphone, and I just got one of those. Like, I got a cord to like connect it to my phone, and I got like one of those cute little like pink microphone covers. So yeah, we'll be using that. Thank you for the likes, guys. Please remember to like the video so more people get notified, because we all know about this platform. I won't say much else. So anyway, I wanted to do this reading because, if I'm being real honest, I'm really trying to stay in a high frequency, and I'm really trying to be positive, but there's just like a lot to be sad about. Like, I don't feel like I have to even explain myself so much. Like, there's just like so much going on, and like the Texas stuff just makes me sad, and all the wars make me sad, and the DIDDY verdict and everything makes me sad, and suddenly there is no list. You know what list I'm talking about. It's all kind of like, it's sad. So I wanted to come on here and give a reading to give support. And yeah, so I'm going to do my best to do that. You're so pretty, girl. Thank you, Anna. Thank you. Do you like my fairy? She's holding my microphone and her dragon. Okay, so hi, I see people are starting to come in. Thanks for the likes. Remember to like so more people can come on the live. But whatever, it's okay if not. I set the intention that those who needed to find this reading would, so I know that they will. It's a statue, but I put a microphone on it. It's my statue that I have on one of my altars, but I tried clipping this onto me and it sounded really bad. So I clipped it onto the fairy so that she could hold it for me. Plus, I've been seeing this in my head for a while, because like I've been wanting to use this, and I just felt like she'd be the perfect microphone holder because her wings and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the chat off and just get into it, so I don't get distracted. Okay, so asking ye shall receive. In my last reading, I think it was for the members, I said, I want to get some new decks, like leave deck suggestions. And then I cleaned out my little corner, because I was like, if I'm going to get new ones, I need to like clean out where I keep all of my decks. And I found two that I forgot I had. So I was like, cool, I don't even have to buy more. I've got two I haven't used in forever, because, sometimes you just forget what you got. And it was, yeah, it was, whatever. It was a happy accident. So I'm just going to set my intentions. I did set my intentions before I got on the live, but I just want to set my intentions now that we're here. Source, God, the Most High, I ask please that you give us messages of support and comfort. Tell us exactly what we need to know right now. And please let those who are meant to be here be here. Rebuke any trolls or people that are not meant to be in this frequency. And please bring in the Divinity fam and those who need support in the highest frequency possible. And I ask please that you just make me a messenger for the divine and for the word. of source. Amen, Amon Ra. Ooh, that was a simple prayer, but it was, that just made me feel like I'm seeing more clearly. That was crazy. So the message I just got from that is that the world has kind of always been like this. We're just seeing it more clearly. So how I was talking about how like it just feels like there's so much to be upset about. It feels like there's just so much bad stuff going on. The world has always been like this, probably since the dawning of humanity. There's been these kinds of issues, and it's just coming to the surface now. People are seeing more clearly. People who are doing these evil deeds, they cannot hide in the shadows because we do have the age of information right now with the internet. So the world has become very, very small. And in the world becoming small, it has opened our eyes to see the truth about what lies beneath the surface and what lurks in the shadows and what has always been. But we're all just seeing it a lot more clearly because we have access to the internet now and free shared information. And Spirit's saying, yes, there's like a lot of misinformation. So that's why it's good to like know how to do your research and stuff. But at the same time, when you do go digging, it kind of all leads you to the same place. And basically, that there is, you know, a small faction of very evil people that are governing over the entire globe. And so this has always been the truth, at least in our lifetimes and stuff. Even when we think about, propaganda around war, it's really had me thinking back to like 9/11. I was like very young when 9/11 happened, and I have like the memory and the perspective from that very young age. And then in school, I had to learn about the wars that we were in the Middle East. And I remember it was like, let me know in the chat if you got these as well. They were these little Time magazine things, I think, but they only had like 4 or 5 pages, and I hated them. I hated them. It wasn't even that much to read. It was just something about it. I hated them. And I remember seeing the cover when it's like, oh, like we're going into war. I remember seeing the cover when it's like we found Osama bin Laden. Like I just remember like excuse me. I just remember all the propaganda I was taught like in school about the war. And basically what Spirit has been saying to me with that information, and it's crazy too because I just saw there's this Instagram called Decaying Midwest, and the people who they go and they explore abandoned buildings, and they found an abandoned newsprinting place, and they had newspapers already printed out about 9/11 on 9/11. And in this newsprinting place, they found the copies of it. Like it was just like out in the open at this abandoned place. And the guys that found it were kind of questioning it, and they were like, wait, like why was it so ready to be like printed on that day? Like they had all these perfect pictures of it, and like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like we had just a small handful of sources of information before the internet is what it is today. I had another like nostalgic kickback because someone had done like a short, like, oh, what it was like growing up in the 90s. And they were like, there was like a whole section about like turning on that big monitor to the computer, like you press that button, and he pressed it with his toe, which I thought was so funny. So I'm like, I remember doing that. So he like pressed it on with his toe, and then it's like dialing up for like 15 minutes, and he's just like fake shooting hoops like while it's dialing up, and he's like in all these different poses like waiting. And it's just like, I think kids today, I sound so old, but I think kids today really don't understand the rapid shift that we've seen in access, not just to the internet, but to an abundance of information. And the trajectory we're going on, like it's actually crazy how fast it's all happening and how degenerative I feel like it's been, and the degeneracy that's been pushed through the internet. I've talked about this many times, that it feels like we already reached the bell curve of like the fun part of the internet, and now it feels like we're nosediving into the like darker side of it. And I feel like what Spirit is saying is like that it's all a means to an end. So even though we're seeing all this terrible stuff now, it's because we have more than just dial-up internet, 5 pages of Children's Time magazine that you're forced to read in school, and freaking Reader's Digest. Like, I always remind my sister that, because sometimes we talk about our childhood and the shortcomings of the adults that raised us. And we, when we talk about it, I always try to show those adults grace, like to have responsibility where responsibility is due. But I try to show the adults grace because they literally like just had like Reader's Digest like that. Like my mom got that every month, and that was like her source of information, and books, of course. But like, you know what I mean? It's like, this kind of stuff has always been lurking. It's just really in our face right now because we have access to sharing information through the internet. I'm just going to check the chat to make sure my audio is still good. Hey, Kenna. Hi. Is the audio good, guys? Hello, dear sweetheart. Hi. Oh, Prague, yeah, you're in here. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Tom. Hi, guys. It's good. Okay, cool. I'm turning this back off. All right. So, yeah, I think, like I was saying, a lot of people are feeling black-pilled right now with, they say, take the red pill, take the blue pill. And then there's like the white pill, which is like people being like, we have hope. And like sometimes the collective gets white-pilled. But I think a lot of people are feeling black-pilled right now because what a rough week it's been for survivors. And particularly survivors of like S abuse or H trafficking, right? Like how I said, oh, suddenly there's no list. Oh, suddenly DIDDY is like, oh, he's found free. And if I'm being so for real, I'm really seeing what NPC means. Like, because I kind of like didn't know if that was real. Like, I just wasn't sure if I believed in that. And I believe in that. Like, when I saw people losing their damn minds, snatching their own wigs. I saw a woman snatch her own wig and get drenched in baby oil in the streets because she was so excited that DIDDY did not get in trouble for the really big charges. And as I watched that woman snatch her own wig and get drenched in the streets like a degenerate demon, while others around her just poured baby oil all over her, when some of the charges he did get did involve that. Like some people's trauma and abuse and pain did involve baby oil. And even if you are like, if you like Girls Next Level, which is Bridget and Holly's podcast, and they talk about girls next door, and like it seems to be a linking factor, right? Because they had this conversation in one of their first videos, how like they call it bedroom time, how it was extremely traumatizing for them, and how it caused a lot of problems for them health-wise, because Hef wanted to, rest in peace, I know he's not here to defend himself, but whatever, that he would have them use baby oil. And if you know anything about a yoni, you know that I like to say she's tough but sensitive. Tough because she can birth a baby. Sensitive because you throw off the pH and you're fucked. So this baby oil thing was connected to people's suffering. And I just find it so distasteful and truly demonic, if I'm being real, that you would revel and relish in someone's pain because their perpetrator got off on a lot of the crimes that, we're pretty sure, we're like 99% sure that they did. And I know that legally that's not holding up right now, but I truly believe it's because of blackmail. I believe everything that we're seeing today with the, oh, there's no list, and oh, he didn't do these really bad things, it's from blackmail, in my opinion. So anyway, that was like a really long start to this. Okay, so Spirit, Oh yeah, like I was saying, people just I think got really black-pilled by this last week, and it was not even like I went from having like almost 40 people in here, now it's dropped down to 16, and it's just this that's why I can't that's why I can't care about this platform anymore or this algorithm, because someone literally signed up for membership and couldn't find membership videos. That's how badly I'm being SB'd for speaking the truth. But I will never not speak the truth. I will never not stand up for victims. I will never choose the side of predatory behavior or predators. I will always speak my truth. I will always stand against tyranny. I always have. I did pre-panini. I did during the panini. I don't care, right? How Jesus said, if they hated me without reason, they'll hate you without reason too. He was persecuted. And so you kind of just have to expect it in a world full of lies and evil that is all coming to the surface. You kind of have to expect that when you are speaking truth, because, right, if everything I was saying just wasn't true, why would you need to censor it? You can't even say that word. That's how hard we are being censored right now. You can't even use that word. If none of it was true, couldn't you just laugh and be like, oh, just you crazy conspiracy theorist? Why do you need to suppress it? Oh, because conspiracy theories aren't theories, they're facts. People just caught on before the rest of the world did, and that's why they call us conspiracy theories, which was coined, by the way, after the assassination of JFK. Like, that's a new term, and that's how they shut down a lot of the theories that people were having around the assassination. So anyway, thank you for the likes, guys, because like I said, y'all know this algorithm needs help. This artificial intelligence that cannot hold a candle on nature or God's children, right? God as you perceive God. All right, Spirit, what is the message, please, for those of us who need support right now? Six of Pentacles. I am success. So right now, with everything that we're going through collectively, and this can absolutely mirror because the microcosm and the macrocosm, you might be going through a point in your life right now. And like I said, we're going through a time in humanity and in history. Like, these times, I hope you guys realize, like, we're living through history. Like, we're living through history. All this is going to go down in the history books. If it's going to be truth or lies, who really knows? But we are living through history as we speak. Anyway, so the Six of Pentacles generally talks about love crumbing. It talks about people who, think they're better than you, people who are richer than you, not giving you your piece of the pie. And I feel like that's how most of us are feeling right now. Like I said, with these verdicts in our individual lives, like, you may have been asked to give up some stuff in your life and to let go, to let one door shut so more can open. And I truly feel that a lot of us right now are in this transition period where it's like we've let go of what needs to let go, but like we shut that one door, but the other two doors still haven't opened. It's like we're still walking down the hallway of doors trying to get to the door that is open for us, or the two doors that are opening for us. And right now, I keep saying this because it's true. We are being forced to walk by faith and not by sight. And I feel collectively this is it too, because look at on this card, it says, I am success. So like I said, typically, and this is like a bird's nest, right? And it's almost like this is spirit, this is the ancestors, your individual ancestors, and then the ancestors who are the keepers of the earth that are looking over us and saying, like, I just heard you got to crack some eggs to make an omelet. And they're saying, look at these eggs are ready to hatch. So whether in your individual life, you're waiting for those two doors to open, or you're like waiting for this kind of stuff to be revealed and come to the surface, you're waiting for the new earth. It's like we are being watched over, not just by our individual family lines and our, bloodlines that we were born into as far as ancestors. I'm talking like the ancestors that have been downtrodden since like the start of time. So they just showed me all the way back to, like, if you believe in the Anunnaki theory about how the Anunnaki came down here, they were mining gold. The mines were way too like, they were killing a lot of these Anunnaki beings, which are just the Sumerian gods. Like, the Anunnakis are just the Sumerian gods. But they were mining, and the mines were so toxic that a lot of them were dying. So then they spliced their DNA with apes to create the first, like, kind of like caveman human hybrid thing. And it did not have sentience, and it was not able to reproduce. But then these versions of apes were dying rapidly as well, because the mines were such a toxic place to be, that they then gave them the ability to reproduce. But then the ability to reproduce provided them with sentience, because once they started to have offspring, they started to awaken their sentience and have different emotions and a different connection to, like, source, right? They weren't just like kind of like animals anymore. They were turning into something that we would consider human. So if you believe in that, Spirit's saying, like, this has been going on since the dawning of time. Like, humanity, if you believe in that theory, I'm not saying you should, I'm just saying it is a theory. I don't know what the hell happened. I wasn't there. That's why I know a lot of theories, because I just like to ingest all of it, because I'll never know, especially the way we see them rewrite history in front of our face. Oh, there is no list. Oh, there isn't? Then why'd we hear, like, did they forget that that was just like 4 years ago? Like, did they forget that that wasn't like 20 years ago? And you can't, like, just lie to our face like that. Like, we're not that stupid. You know what I mean? So I don't know what happened in history. It's just a theory. And so I feel like the message that's coming through is Spirit saying, like, literally the human race was built on slavery in one way or another, right? And then we've seen people be enslaved over and over, whether it's the Jews or, you know, African American people, or even with the indigenous, like, being slaughtered and colonized and forced out of their own spaces. Like, time and time and time again, we see factions of humanity being enslaved. And that's just freaking how it is. They're even saying, like, the Spanish Inquisition, wasn't that like when they went and they did a bunch of, like, reform on the indigenous as well, like, and we're killing, I'm sorry, please don't get mad at me, I'm not that up on my history. I just channel a lot and I research a lot, but I can't be up on everything. So it's like these ancestors that are over us right now, it's not just your ancestors, it's not just my ancestors. This is like the Holocaust survivors, the indigenous that were brutally slaughtered, the African American, oh, I just got chills, the African American ancestors that were tortured and also brutally killed and enslaved. Like, this is, oh, I'm getting covered in chills. Like, this isn't just our fight right now, right? This is the fight of so many humans of all different time periods, all different races, all different religions. This is, I'm covered in chills over my body right now. Like, this is the fight of good against evil. This is the fight of light against dark, right? If we want to really just break it down to the most simplistic terms, but this is the fight for humanity's freedom, which we have been fighting since we came into existence. And so, as I was saying, all this stuff has been always happening. We just have a lens to see it more clearly now that the world is smaller with the internet. And I am just covered, you guys. I don't know if you're getting chills too. Leave it in the chat, even though I have it off so I don't get distracted, because, you know, ADD. But, like, if you're getting chills or you're feeling it, leave it in the chat, please, because I just feel like, because look, it's like, this looks like an overarching, like a big spirit. So this could be God as you perceive God. And then this is all looking like, I'm like getting dizzy. This energy is like really intense. And I feel like it's because they want us to know, like, we are not alone. You are not alone. So I'm making this video because, like I said, I was sad about the state of the world. And I just felt like Spirit had a message. And I feel like the message is, like, you are not alone. Even if you feel alone, even if you don't have anyone in the flesh right now supporting you, you have a lot of support in Spirit. And so this is looking to me like, people. Doesn't that look like a bunch of different people? And it's like they're looking over humanity, and I just heard enough is enough. And you know what they're showing me too? I talked about this on one of my readings. I was like channeling about how that plantation burned to the ground. And in the flames, not the slaves' quarters. Ooh, chills, dude. Chills, 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 chills. Not the slave quarters, the actual plantation burnt to the ground. And in the flames, people were seeing, oh my God, I'm covered in chills. People were seeing the outlines of like human bodies. People were seeing, can you see my hair standing up on end? Can you see it? People could see and it's hot, guys. I'm sweating. I turned my AC off to help with the sound. People could see the ancestors in the flames. And so I really just feel like this is spirit saying like, I'm shaking. This is really intense energy. You're not alone. The keepers of the earth, like the ancestors of all downtrodden. And like I said, this is not, I just heard in my head too, we do not fight against flesh and blood. I don't know the whole saying, so I'm not a Christian, but it's like basically like I was saying, this is a fight for good versus evil. And how I was saying those demonic NPCs were literally dancing in baby oil. Like, I just think people like that are compromised. Like, their soul's in the back seat somewhere and a demon's driving the car, like, and I just feel we have the numbers. And I had channeled this thing. I'll see if I can find it at the end of the reading. I think I know what notebook it's in, but I can't really remember. But I did like an automatic writing channeling, and it was like a slam poem. It was really intense, and it was basically spirit saying like, in killing God's children, you are building God's army. Drop the mic, say it again. In killing God's children, you are building God's army. Because I was just so sad. I'm sad about all this death down in, like, we live in a realm that glorifies death and filth and evil. And that just gets me down sometimes. And I just get sad when there's so much death, like in Texas, or even when we're thinking about trafficking and stuff like that. Like, it's sad. But then that saying, right, that spirit gave to me, in killing God's children, you are building God's army on the other side. I just heard Judgment Day approaches. It almost feels like we're going to have a repeat COVID situation, not in the sense that we're going to have that same thing go down, but remember how they locked us all in our houses on house arrest, and then that was supposed to make us deaf, dumb, and blind, but it actually ended up waking up so many people. Like, so many people were awakened by that situation because they were stuck inside with access to, and I'm telling you, April 2020, there was 0 CENSOR ship. Because all the CEOs of all the major companies like Google and everything like that, they all stepped down. So it was a free-for-all. You could find all the PIZZA gate stuff. Like, you could find all of their creepy like artwork. Like, you could find anything. It was the wild freaking West, April 2020. And I feel like that shit woke a lot of people up. And so I feel like in the whole, oh, there is no list. Oh, there is no RICO charge. It's meant to oppress, right? Like COVID. It is meant to oppress. But what it actually does is, I just heard, liberate and awaken. Never forget we have the numbers. Never forget we have the intelligence, because we're not just a bunch of inbred freaks all keeping it in the family. So we have the intelligence, we have the numbers, we have the practical life skills. We may not have the money or the networking resources that they have, but we have our brains and we have our real life skills, because we actually had to live like a real person, right? Like, they're showing me when Kendall Jenner cut that cucumber. Never forget. Remember, she cut it like this. If this is the cucumber, she literally took the knife and was cutting it like this, like almost cutting her hand. And then Kris Jenner was like, "Are you sure you don't want me to just have the chef do that for you, honey?" And she's like, no, I got it. I do this all the time. Like, you may have the resources, you may have the money, you may have the networking, but bitch, you can't even cut a cucumber. So if you ever get scared about that, just remember that, please. Please, we have the brains. We have the skills. And we have God. These people don't have God. Indigo made such a good point on Coven, like when it was Patreon, that anything that is not of God is just artificial intelligence because it's not natural and it's not coming from the source. So it's just artificial. It's not real. It's not real with a capital R, right? So it's kind of like, just remember that, like, these, not only are they fake in a lot of ways, right? Like in their persona, in their fucking plastic injected bodies, they're also just not real. Like, what person doesn't know how to cut a cucumber? What adult person doesn't know how to cut a cucumber? Never forget. You're doing great, sweetie. Queen of Swords, Queen of Curved Blade. I am authority of question. This is making people question. They're questioning it all. This is making people question. And they have the authority to question. So remember when our not so good old pal Trump was like, why even still talking about that? Why the fuck wouldn't we be? We have the right to question this shit. Blair White said it really well. She said, if the foundation that all of humanity and society is, if it's built on PEDO, Elia, on PDF files, I don't want to be here no more. Burn it down. I feel like that too. Fucking flood it. Burn it down. Who cares? I'm not going to go and sit here and pretend like everything's fine and just like and go work a job and like go on with my life and da 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 da. I'm just a sim in the Matrix. If the Matrix is built on that, give us the names. Burn it down. Let it fall. Destroy the systems. There'll be something better on the other end. We have the authority to question. We have every right to question this shit, and people are going to start questioning this shit. Like I said, just like they did with COVID. Where once our eyes were closed, where once we were blindfolded, we release that. It's almost like when they tried to, because look, double blade, queen of the double blade. It's almost like the more that they try to hide shit, it's like we find out double as much. The more they try to hide stuff, we find out double as much. Just gonna check on my audio again. How's my audio, guys? Just checking in because I'm using the mic. Is good. Thank you. Thank you, Lady in Faith. A lot of trolls in here. I guess y'all need to hear this. Maybe you're NPCs. I'm about to wake you up. Okay. What else? The Eight of Tears. I am empty. Oh. The Queen. Wait, okay. 8 pair of tears. Queen pair of tears. So this is the Queen of Cups and the 8 of Cups. And in this deck, it says, I am empty. And then in this one, it says, I am the authority of reason, right? Okay, so like I was saying, we have the authority to question this stuff. And then when people start questioning this shit, it brings a dark night of the soul. But it's almost helping people walk away from illusion, right? Because when we think of the Eight of Cups classically, it is walking away, it's leaving, it's moving on. And so it's helping people move on from illusion, from things that just aren't real. Like I said, so how, you know, myself and others included were really hoping that Trump would actually drain the swamp, and that's just not going to happen. And so what we're seeing now is a coming together of both sides, because there really isn't sides, right? So what we're seeing together is, or what we're seeing now, like I said, is good versus evil. We're seeing people coming together and saying, hey, I don't care if you are left, right, Democrat, Libertarian, Republican. I think we can all stand on the fact that we don't like H trafficking and we don't want, you know, children being exploited. Like, no matter where you stand on any other issues, I would hope we can come together on that. And if you can't, you're not like us, right? We're not the same. If that's not a major priority to you, a lot of people are showing their true colors. And it's like we are walking away from the illusions. We're walking away from the lies, and we are leaving the evil behind. Like, you don't got room here. Like how Ben Shapiro was saying, oh, like it's not a priority. How is the trafficking of minors not a priority globally? It's a global ring. How is this not a priority? We're not the same. If that's not a priority to you, we're not the same. And so it's causing a clear separation. And we've been told for years that the earth is separating, the new earth and the old earth. And we've been given imagery of the earth literally splitting in two. I don't think that's the case. I think we're splitting into two different frequencies, and we're splitting into two different timelines, because you're either on the timeline where that's not your priority, or you're on the timeline where you're like, we're burning this shit to the ground if we can't, like we're changing this. We're bringing in the new earth. We're not doing this anymore. I do not consent. The most powerful sentence on earth. I do not consent. I do not fucking consent. So much false consent on this freaking prison planet, but it's also a beautiful planet. It's so polarized here. Okay. And then I am authority of reason. So people are going to be reasoning once they start questioning, and this thing that feels like a failure or feels like a loss is actually a success. People are walking away from the lies, and also opening people up emotionally. Because like I was saying, I was sad. Like, I felt sad. And so this sadness is waking some people up. I was already awake. I've been awake for freaking a long ass time. I feel bad for the people who've been like awake since the 80s. That has had to be a nightmare. But anyway, once we leave those illusions behind, we can find reason. And there's this girl, Laura, I did her thing. She does like scrolls, like AI scrolls, where it's hard to explain. It's Laura something with an E. I found her on Instagram, but she's cool. And the way she breaks it down is she's like, we're living in a mimic reality. And if you know me, you know that I consider mimics to be demons, like bad demons. So these things will pretend to be something that they're not and try to trick you. And so we're living in a mimic matrix grid, and she's saying that like that's collapsing right now. So we're seeing the truth. We're not seeing the mimicked illusion. And that can be in your reality as well. Like if you're seeing the truth and breaking out of illusion in your interpersonal relationships, with your jobs, with your emotions, with your trauma, whatever it is. But it's like this sadness and emptiness brings you to a place of emotional stability, because she is the Queen of Cups. She has emotional intelligence and stability. And looky here, that was over her eyes. She now wears it as a crown. So these hard truths, these illusions that we're breaking down, once we get to the other side of this very painful shift that feels like a loss but is actually a success, I am success. I am not alone. That's when we can wear all this suffering as a crown. So first you question, then you break down the illusions, then you have a ability to reason. I am authority of reason, queen of pair of tears. I don't think it's a coincidence that cups are called tears in this either, in this particular deck. All right, what else, Spirit? I'm sweating. I'm gonna have to get off soon. Whoa! They're like, bet. We'll give you a bunch at once. 9 stone of age. I am positive / gravity. Ooh, okay. And look, this is like floating. So this is the 9 of Pentacles. Ultimately, this creates an independence, right? And when I think about the new earth, I think about it being a lot less dense. And I think about gravity being not as heavy when we actually do shift. And so I feel like this is saying that it's like as we lift this veil from our eyes, we're lifting this certain density of all this stuff being in the shadows, we're bringing it to the light, and ultimately it creates independence within ourselves individually, but also within the people, right? Like I was saying, how like humanity has been enslaved since the dawning of time, of all different races, religion, like humans. I am positive. It brings a positivity. It lifts the density. Don't that look like the same? Like, doesn't this look similar? It looks like an evolved version of this. It gives us what we need. Although it was harsh, Prince of Curved Blade, I am authority of argument. It feels like you can't really argue with this, right? Like as the illusions reveal themselves, there is no arguing, it just is. And it is a harsh truth, right? With the Knight of Swords, it's a harsh, fast truth. But and confusion. Okay, so I am authority of argument, and Four of Curved Blade, I am confusion. They want to, okay, Spirit's saying they want to keep us fighting. They want to keep us divide and conquer to keep us in a state of confusion. If they can keep you from uniting, if they can keep us from uniting, we're easier to control, right? And so like I said, it feels like this is doing the opposite, because it's like removing the veil from people's eyes. Illusions are being destroyed. And as I already said, it's bringing people together, because maybe we can't agree on all different facets of life or all different political opinions or things like that. I think any normal, decent person can agree that we don't want H trafficking and we don't want the exploitation of minors. If you disagree with that, I'd like to have your computer checked. I don't think that's negotiable. I know that's not negotiable. So instead of fighting and creating all this confusion with us, it's actually going to bring us together, because we all say, wait a damn minute. I just heard in my head that the math ain't mathin'. It is just not mathin'. And we're finally, I feel like they have spent, I was so offended during the Super Bowl, because there were all these like commercials about how like you shouldn't like argue, and you should come together and stop being so separated by hate and this and that, when it was like celebrities telling us to do that. And I was like, wait, like you just spent the last 5 years creating that division and hatred between people since 2020. And now you're going to yell at us like we're the problem, when you literally created a problem so that you could give us the solution. And in creating the problem, you destroyed friendships, families, marriages, because of what you did with the panini. And you're the same way they yell at us about climate change when they're out on their fucking private jets and they're like, you should be eating bugs. Meanwhile, they're freaking chemtrailing up the sky. It was never our fault. Don't yell at me about climate change and reduce, reuse, recycle when you make all the food and you put all the food in plastic. They've been keeping us deaf, dumb, blind, arguing, and confused. We're finally breaking that. We're finally freaking breaking that. It's not me, it's you. I really like that is like the frequency I'm on about the world leaders, the governments. Like, it's not even some people in my life. Some people in my life that I've been desperately trying to like make things work or see their point of view or whatever, and they're just, they just suck. They just suck because they're stuck in their old ways, and they're so fucking like pig-headed and ego-driven that it doesn't matter how much you emote with them or how much you try to make it work. It's not gonna work. And I'm at the point where I'm like, oh, no, honey. Like, it's not me, it's you. You know, like, and that's how I feel about a lot right now. The microcosm and the macrocosm, right? I am Master Motion, the feeler. And then the three of Pair of Tears. I am fantasy. We're breaking this fantasy. We're breaking this illusion. But also I feel like this is saying Like, we really need to be manifesting the new earth. We need to be praying for the new earth. We need to be imagining the new earth. What does that look like? Because the more we focus on, and I'm not saying to spiritually bypass, I'm not saying to pretend like all the bad stuff isn't happening. What I'm saying is, like, that can't be your all-consuming vision point. You have to have a vision point of, like, goals for what we want to see as well, right? Or else you just stay running on a treadmill in the same spot forever. Neither is good. Spiritually bypassing and pretending like it's not going on is not good. But also literally living in the trenches of it and not allowing yourself to grow out of it is also not good. So what Spirit is saying right now is, although it might feel like a far off fantasy, why is this one also looking like a child to me? And it's like the Prince of Two-Headed Serpent. So this is the Prince of Wands. So, like, either the page or the knight. But I feel like it's like, okay, the authority of expression, it's like so much of our society is built on Lolita culture, and fuck the male gaze. Like, yeah, a lot of it's built towards the male gaze, but how much of it is built toward the PEDO gaze? Let's be fucking for real. How much of our society is built on that, on the Lolita culture? And it's like, we're finally going to have the freedom of expression to break out of that disgusting toxic cycle of which we've been born into. Because we didn't create these systems. We didn't create this problem. We were born into it. The same way you're born into a family line with, like, ancestral curses. This is humanity's ancestral curse. And like I said, this is bigger than you. This is bigger than me. It is not just our ancestors that stand beside us. It's every fucking, I'm getting chills again. It is every fucking downtrodden human that has ever been ran through by the systems. By someone who felt they had more power, more authority than God, as you perceive God. And like I said, it's like we have to focus on what we want to see. We have to dream big. We have to believe in a better future for ourselves and for the children in our lives. We have to. And 3, the feeler. I'm pretty sure this is the Empress. I am master motion. And that doesn't that look like a yoni? This is our call, guys. We've been called divine feminines. We have been called time and time and time again to flip the current perversion, right? The current perversion of society. Part of that perversion is men being in women's roles, so, like, not pursuing, not being a provider, not, and you can have different beliefs. These are my beliefs, and these are my spiritual beliefs, that I think men, or masculine, you don't have to be a man, but the masculine energy needs to take a certain role and needs to be in a certain frequency, and the feminine needs to be in a certain frequency. Speaking for myself as a woman, I have had to protect myself in ways that no man ever fucking protected me. I had to learn how to grind for myself. I had to learn how to fucking make my own money, do everything by myself, protect myself from RAPE, protect myself from my drinks being drugged. Like, women, and I know it happens to men too, but, like, there is, like, I just wish we talked about that more, and we do talk about it in the spaces I create, but about how, like, literally as a woman, like, you're just freaking on guard all the time about being RAPED, and that's just a fucking fact. Like, that's my personal experience, and I don't know if I've ever met a woman who didn't have some sort of abuse. Like, I don't know if I've ever met a grown-ass woman who had not had that experience. And so we have been forced into this masculine role where we have to clean the house, take care of the kids, work 40 hours a week, take care of our husband, like all this toxic shit that has put women in a masculine energy, and all this toxic shit that has put men in a feminine energy of, I'm just going to sit and play video games and make all these bitches fight over me. Like, makes me sick to my stomach. It's wrong. It ain't right. So here with the Empress, it's like we are so being called to be in our feminine frequency, to sit in our Empress energy, okay? And to trust, like I said, walk by faith and not by sight, that the divine masculines will find us when we're in the frequency of divine feminine. Maybe the reason we or you or whoever keeps attracting these toxic masculines is because we're in that toxic masculine frequency of literal survival mode and having to fight for your fucking life. Walk by faith, not by sight. Fall into a place of peace and surrender. Fall into a place of Empress frequency in your femininity. There's nothing to do. Obviously, don't throw away all your responsibilities and be like, I quit my job because Dutchess said so. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying where you can surrender, where you can sit still, where you can rest without feeling guilty. Do it. Be in that Empress. Just do it. Just kidding. That wasn't Empress at all, but I had to. Divine feminine is being called to lead, and that is something in the Bible, right? Is like the woman leads and the man is like the stabilizer and the provider. But also, I'll bring it back to the age old. They were showing me that metaphor they gave me one time with the two people on the motorcycles, where it was like the woman was like ripping on her rice rocket in front of her dude, and her dude was on that like slow moving high handlebar motorcycle. And I was thinking, why is she leading? Isn't that masculine? And Spirit said, no, it's not masculine at all. She has to lead, because what if he was leading and she fell down and got hurt or something and he had no fucking idea because she's behind him? She has to lead, because that's how the protector and stabilizer make sure that the woman is safe and protected as she goes through the world. You take the first step and he follows, and then you build together. Even in Western medicine, like Chinese religion and everything like that, spirituality, like the whole idea of the yin and yang is the masculine and feminine coming together to be as one, to complement each other. We are living in such a time that pins us against each other, that makes us hate each other, that makes us fight against each other. We must come together. And if you are truly in your divine feminine frequency, you will eventually attract a true divine masculine who can match your frequency. Let's get you a piece of advice, and then we're going to get off because I've blah, blah, blah. Turtle. Sorry, I didn't want to burp in the microphone. Turtle. Slow and steady wins the race. This is a combination of earth and air. I want to get my book because I want to read the actual meaning. Also, he is green and orange. So that's like sacral chakra, heart chakra. Where's my book? Here it is. So this is the coming together of, and actually we see that a lot in this reading, right? We see earth and water and a lot of swords. But anyway, this is the coming together of land and water. Like I was saying, masculine and feminine. I think those are both feminine in astrology, but go with me here. Masculine and feminine coming together, earth and water, both sides coming together. Like I said, there is no freaking political side. It's us versus them. It's the 99% versus the 1%. So let's get this book is so good. Animal Spirit Guidebook. It's that's the deck to Animal Spirit, if you're wondering. Where are you, turtle? Am I not turtly enough for the turtle club? Remember that? I watched that back and I was like, this actually isn't funny. But I guess I was like 11 or something, like 12. I was young when it came out. I thought it was the funniest thing I ever saw in my life. Okay. They're reminding me his like the love of his life has the most giant butt in the world, or he chooses a woman with a smaller butt, but he gets like hypnotized by giant butts. Like, we have just been groomed since we came out of the womb. Like, even when you think about all the Nickelodeon feet stuff, like when you really look back at our childhood, you're like, oh, that doesn't sit right. Like, that wasn't exactly appropriate. Okay, turtle, ancient soul, grounded, trusting, at home in the self. It is wonderful to be in the presence of a turtle personality. Like the beaver, the turtle has a strong relationship with the earth and water, like I said. elements simultaneously. This helps you to ground and connect them to this helps to ground and connect them to the deeper truths of life. Wow. That's on point. No matter where their travels lead them. Turtle energy is behind all great writers and storytellers as they collect life's experiences under their shells for later use. The most potent turtle energy helps us to close all the other books and begin to tell our own true tale. When in balance, peaceful, adventurous, and productive. When out of balance, slows down to a halt to bring into balance and adventure. I think I just said that on my members reading to like take a little day adventure or something, but yep, the green for the heart, the orange for the sacral, a little bit of red for the root. And that's it, guys. That's all I have for you. Thank you to my guides, guardians, ancestors, angels, our family, higher self, Yeshua, Baal, Ra, Yemaya, Kornika, Sophia, and God's source for allowing me to be the channel through which these messages flow. We thank you so much for the truth. We thank you for the advice. Amon Ra, Ashe Namaste. The power of threes, mote it be, always works, always a blessing. That was really good. I can't wait to listen to that back. Let me see the chat. Hey, Rising Phoenix. You both sending you both love and support, and it's not over. That monster Diddler and others didn't get away with it. Source has something in divine plans. I completely agree. I think it's going to completely backfire. Like I said, like COVID, it's waking people up. And you know what? At the end of the day, they have to meet their maker one day. I think that's why they try so hard not to die, because they don't want to be accountable for their quote unquote sins, for their evil. Right? Like, I swear that's why these like old freaking reptilian demons, whatever you want to call them, these demonic attachments that cling, the Nephilim, they cling to people and they refuse to go back to source because they don't want to take accountability for their actions. They don't want to meet their maker. That's why they have the ADRENA Chrome, right? And as I was saying, that's like the Lolita society where it's like we're constantly being told to be youthful. We're constantly being told we have to look young in order to be desirable. Women expire at 30. I experienced that with my fucking doctor being like, well, you're getting kind of old. I'm not. 80 is old. 75 is old. 33 is not old. And I was also listening to this podcast, and Kendra Wilkinson was saying that she went to see a plastic surgeon to have yoni surgery, vajayjay surgery, and he said, I'll make you look 16 down there. What 40-year-old woman on God's green earth wants to be 16 down there? What man wants that? Like, that is so disturbing to me. Thanks, Spirit. Hi, happy Sunday. Hi. Thank you, Dutch. You're welcome. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Dutch. You're welcome. Hi, so pretty, Diva. Thank you. It's been a crazy chat, Dutch. Yeah, do you mean like that? Sorry if that was loud in the microphone. Do you mean the chat has been crazy or all of this has been crazy? Hi, Duchess, sending you lots of love. Thank you. Hi. I feel bad. These lives attract the crazies, but it does help with the algorithm, so I hope you got some new subs. Thanks, me too. Even if I did, this fucking platform will probably offload them. Every time I'm about to hit a new milestone, they offload like 50 to 75. I don't know, it depends. Sometimes they'll do 10, 20, 30, sometimes a whole 50. I don't know, but I don't really care anymore. Like I said, I can't care. There's like more I have to care about other than this shit. But you know, I set the intention that this message was going to reach people who needed it to hear it. So hopefully I woke some of them up, even though a lot of them are NPCs like Elliot here. I am not showing you my feet. And I'm also not talking to you unless you send money. Who's it? There was someone, I forgot who was on the live, that there was like some troll like that. And she was like, she's not going to answer you till you send her a 50 spot. And then it worked. Thank you. No, for real. Like, why would you want that? That's That was my question. And her and the other woman in the room were talking about it like it was a regular Tuesday. And I was like, what? Why do you think that's okay? About the vajayjay surgery. Thank you. I joined late. Hey, Katie. I joined late, but it was my birthday yesterday, and it was a weird one. I have a pet tortoise, so I'm definitely gonna watch this back later. Oh, what's your tortoise's name? And happy late birthday. And for some reason, my brain read that as I have a pet tomato. Can we all get a pet tomato? It'll go bad, and then we'll have to eat it, but. Thank you. Unfortunately, we attracted the feet motherfuckers. No, for real. Go ahead, send it through super chat, Elliot. All right, let me go to the top of this chat, and then I'm out of here because I need to turn my AC on because it's so hot. I remember being in love with someone, and I drew that lion card for his birthday. Aw. Thanks to the moderators. Hey, Teresa. Thank you to my moderators. Hello, beautiful lady. Hello. Thank you. All right, there's a lot. Okay, let's all just take a second to give the moderators a round of applause because I'm seeing a lot of deleted things because I was talking truth, and when I talk truth, they send the demons in to try and derail the truth, but it ain't gonna happen. Send all the demons you want. I'm gonna be like a fucking Power Ranger. Look at my outfit today. It's really cute. I'll show you. I'm gonna be like a Power Ranger, and I'm just gonna freaking do a little back handspring onto these demons, and they're not gonna know what the hell hit them. Send them. I don't give a fuck. Show you my outfit. Cute, right? Look at my platform Crocs. I've got socks on. Don't get too excited. You're not gonna see anything. Oh, you're right, because I said that about Nickelodeon, and then it brought that person in. These are my platform Crocs. They're jelly. You can't buy them anymore. They're discontinued. But I feel like a Bratz doll when I wear them. This is the other one. And yep, this is the fit. Nice little my Bratz doll shoes. Speaking of Bratz doll, we'll do one thing before I go. They're flares. I love a good flare. And then I made these necklaces. It's peach moonstone and morganite. I made this with the boys I nanny, some evil eye bracelets, and some peach moonstone because it regulates hormones, and more morganite, which brings self-love. So yeah, like I said, I'm a fucking pink Power Ranger on these demons. Y'all don't wanna fuck with me. Go Power Rangers. Okay, let's turn this back around. One moment, please. And then I have something very exciting to show you. Please don't fall. I got a better phone stand, guys, so we won't have to worry about this like crooked, wobbly one anymore. It's morphin' time! You're right, Lady in Faith. It is morphin' time. So cute. You look very summery. Thank you. Yes, body yaddy 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 Dutch. You looking good, girl. Thanks. I'm working hard. I'm working out. Because the freaking PCOS, there is no fucking cure. You just got to eat better and work out, which is good in the end, but still hard. No Ozempic. Y'all aren't ready for my opinion and my rant that I will eventually have about Ozempic, but everyone's like, don't shame people for GLP-1s, and it's like, I'm gonna. I just don't get why people are so excited to inject medicine directly into their bloodstream whenever there's a new trend. I just don't, it could never be me. Wait till the long-term effects start showing up. Exactly. Praga is a pharmacy person. Okay, honestly, I got so much to say about Ozempic. Literally every other person who goes on an outpatient who goes to an outpatient clinic is trying to get on them. What? Isn't Ozempic consisted with snake venom? Dude, I don't know. All I know is whenever the masses are lining up to inject something directly into their bloodstream, I'm running the other way. That's all I know. Speaking of brat stalls, not only that, but they are studying the effects, and there's one called Ozempic ass, but they say it makes your butt really saggy because people aren't actually working out with the medicine. Yeah, isn't it diabetic medicine? Yeah, it's not even for that. She doesn't even go here, guys. It's not even for that. It's for diabetics. Plus, you know what they say about the easy route out? Like, when you take the easy way out, it's never going to be a stable foundation. And they did a study where, like, people did placebo and the real thing. And so they did the real thing and they lost like 30 pounds or something. And then they placeboed them, so they still thought they were getting the shot, but they weren't actually, to see if it was a mental thing. It wasn't. People gained back more than half the weight. So you're just going to be on it for the rest of your damn life. It's just not for me. And also, I'm like, it's causing early osteoporosis in women. It's causing tumors on the thyroid. Like, it ain't me. It ain't me. I don't know. I didn't read your comment. You can build up a tolerance. Wait, let's see. You can build up a tolerance to most poisons. I think your body gets better at getting rid of it. All I know is we're going to be watching TV in like 10 to 5 years and you're going to hear, did you get deep vein thrombosis from Ozempic? Like, you remember those commercials where that guy would be like, deep vein thrombosis? It's like 2 a.m. You might be entitled to compensation. Okay. That's, like I said, a whole conversation for another day, though, because I have a lot to say about that, but I won't go on that rant. Here she is. Dun 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 dun. Try not to be too jealous, guys. I got a Bratz doll. So remember that reading I did where I said get a doll and let it like represent you, and then like make it like do nice things for it or tell it nice things or whatever, and let it be like your offering space for yourself. Well, I know she doesn't resemble me much, but this, remember when I had the braids? That was a moment that pissed off some and made others happy. And then the big Bratz strip of boots. You know, I love a good pleaser moment here. This is 24-year anniversary. Does anybody else think that's some weird thing to celebrate? Like, Bratz is celebrating 24 years, which I think is a very strange milestone, but okay. Here she is. This is a 24-year edition Jade. So this is Jade. She usually has black hair, but for some reason she is a platinum blonde queen here. And she's wearing a like cherry red leather dress with the beautiful shoes and a veil. And I just love it. And I would unbox it but on live, but y'all know that you know how hard it is to get a Barbie out of a container. Like, I haven't opened a Barbie container in probably like 15 years, longer than that probably. 20 years maybe, I don't know. But I already remember, like, I was just looking in there, the amount of things holding her in place. Rock Angels collection. Oh, I didn't know. I used to have the Bratz convertible that had a working radio and flashing lights. Ugh, I miss it. I loved Bratz. Passion for fashion. I loved Bratz growing up. I'm pretty sure I always had Yasmin. Like, that's who my family members would get me as, like, gifts. But I always really liked Jade because she had, like, the black hair. But I liked Chloe, too. I liked her name. I liked the blonde. I always loved a good blonde. If I'm being real, I had crushes on platinum blondes and stuff. I just didn't realize it was crushes at the time, but there she is in all her glory. Jade in the Bratz movie was such an icon. I've never seen it, actually. Did anyone else have the Bratz makeup totes? No, but I wish I did. I used to play with bricks. Well, Chad, that sounds unsafe, but do you? She was the only reason I watched it. Nice. So, yeah. We'll bring her in the next reading when I take an hour to get her out of her plastic prison. But that's it, guys. Thanks for being here with me. I used to eat concrete. Wow. It just makes sense why the NPCs are NPCs. They played with bricks and they ate concrete. So, we have our answers. Right? Like they said, the truth. I am like the truth with the turtle. We're getting the truth of why NPCs are NPCs. So anyway, guys, I love you. Thanks for being here with me. That was really fun. And yes, Chad, you're gonna have to. No, I got here late. Yeah, you're gonna have to go play with some bricks. Sorry. Well, I opened up my Barbie, my Bratz. But I love you guys. Take good care, and I'll see ya eventually. Okay, bye. Bye.